Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kelly Brown and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you love newborn photography, then you most likely have way more props than you actually need. I don't know about you, but I often will put things in a special space and forget about it. And then I'll go to find it and I can't find it. In this video, I'm going to share with you my go-to prop and why I love it so much. I found this beautiful bowl in a small country antique store. It was a little outside my price range, but I knew I had to have it. So when it comes to selecting the right bowl, finding the right prop for your studio, there are 4 things that you need to consider. Is it big enough? Is it safe? Is it suitable? And is it versatile? The first thing I need to look at is, can I fit a baby in it? Obviously, no brainer. In the past, I have used my arm as a guide. So if I make a fist, and I think about the size of a baby from the elbow to the top of my first set of knuckles, if I can fit that inside a bowl, I can usually fit a baby in there. Now that's just a guide that I've used in the past. So if we look at this in terms of centimeters, it is about 36 and a half centimeters in diameter, just over a foot. And it's also quite deep as well. So if I think about the height of the bowl, it is about 80 centimeters high. So I know that I'm going to fit a baby in there. This is my fake baby wrapped up. She fits comfortably in there. And you can see that there's room around her to be able to position and place some supports to make her nice and comfortable. All right, and then when it comes to safety, now, there's a few things to consider. Obviously, with an antique bowl like this, being timber, you need to consider the rough edges, whether or not it is going to be suitable. If there are too many rough edges, then obviously they can splinter, so that can be dangerous. Is it nice and smooth? And that is the first thing I do, is run my hands over it. So with a treated piece of timber like this, if I can do that without getting any splinters, then that's going to be a big tick for me. The other thing when it comes to safety is you want to make sure that it is stable. So does it have a nice flat surface on the bottom so that it is balanced whenever you do put a baby in it? And then you need to consider the weight of that prop. So this being actual timber, it's really quite heavy. If it was made out of a type of resin or fiberglass or something like that, it could be quite light in weight. So if you were to put a baby in it and it was resting more on one side, then it could topple over. So you would need to be able to weight it down at the bottom. The other thing when it comes to safety is thinking about how you will position the baby inside a prop like this. If it's going to be inside and on its back with supports around it, then it's going to be nice and supported and comfortable, and there's no falls risk. However, if you were to put a baby upright, then you would need to consider how you would use a spotter, an assistant, to help you keep the baby nice and safe. So there are lots of safety issues when it comes to selecting a prop and how you will use it, but we always must consider that making sure the baby is safe and secure at all times is at the forefront of everything that we do. So the next thing is whether or not a prop like this would be suitable for our style of photography. So for me, I'm very drawn to beautiful organic tones, colors, and textures. I love timbers. Anything with a really earthy appearance to it is going to fit really well with what I already have in my studio. Is it going to be suitable for someone who does a lot of beautiful, colorful shots? Possibly not. But I do feel that anything like this is quite versatile in the sense that it can be styled in a variety of different ways. And that leads me into the last point, is how versatile is it? So a prop like this, I know that I'm going to get 3 different poses. The first one being the back pose. I know being nice and round and deep enough means that I can position the baby safely and comfortably on its back using different supports. And then I know that I can use the shape of this bowl to create a beautiful side pose with the baby's head and hand coming up on one side and legs coming up to the other side. And then the last pose that I would use this type of prop for would be chin on hands, where I position the baby inside the prop with its little chin resting on the back of its hands on the edge of that bowl. To achieve all of those poses, I need to use lots of different supports to allow me to position the baby so that it is, number 1, safe, number 2, comfortable, 3, secure at all times. And that's what's going to help me transition the baby from one pose to the next easily, allowing me to get maximum results every time I use something like this. If we look at placing the baby on its back, I need to use different supports like little pillows to place in behind the back and the head to make sure that she is supported and comfortable at all times. So using pillows like this while the baby is wrapped and how I position them allow me to create lots of space, a nice deep well for the bottom to go into, and lots of support behind the back, the shoulders and the head, so that my baby does not come into contact with the edge of the prop. So if we think about then how we're going to style it in terms of using different textures, something like this, which is just a wool layer, placing it over the top of the supports, keeping them in the position that they were in. I can place the baby comfortably inside and photograph that from above. And you can see the head is nice and supported at the back, and at the front she's inside, and we've created a beautiful frame around her with the edge of the round bowl. So I would shoot that from above and then grab a couple of different close-up shots. If we think about our other pose in terms of positioning our baby on their side, you would use something very similar to this. However, when you position the baby down inside the prop like that, their legs are obviously going to disappear. So the different supports that you would use need to be firm but soft so that you can fill the bottom of your prop. That's going to allow you to place the baby on their side inside the prop like this. So the last pose that I would consider using this prop for would be the chin on hands, placing the baby inside. So almost similar to positioning the baby on its back with its bottom down inside, but this time what we're going to do is bring the baby's bottom back further and then have it leaning forward with its arms out. So as we just peel back the layers here, you can keep the legs and the lower body wrapped up so they're nice and supported inside the prop. But as we position a baby inside like this, then we need to use supports at the front to then bring the hands forward to the edge to be able to rest the baby's chin on the back of the hands like so. Obviously a little different with a real baby. But as you can see at the back here, there is still going to be room, so you need to use additional supports to place in behind the baby to make sure that they are safe and secure at all times and they can't move. The supports I use are really important in terms of how I pose and position a baby in a prop like this. And I use a variety of different ones. Some I've made, some I've purchased. The main go-to support that I do use is just a cloth diaper or a hand towel. Some people like to use. I use this because it's nice and soft, but I can also fold it into any shape to fit any space. So it works brilliantly. It also helps me create that nice firm layer, but it's soft, to separate the baby from the prop so that it isn't coming into contact with those hard surfaces. The other different supports that I use are usually in the shape of a pillow. Some are a little softer than others and some are really firm as well. Now I use these for different reasons. If they're nice and squishy and soft, they're great at just adding that little extra padding around the baby. But if they're bigger and they're firmer, then they can help support and hold the baby into some of those more upright poses and positions. And if you want to see more on how I made some of these DIY supports, have a look at a previous YouTube video I did called DIY Studio Hacks. There's lots of different handy hints and tips in there for you. So there are all the reasons why I love this beautiful bowl. And if you want to see how I achieve all of the poses that we've talked about in terms of creating lots of variety, make sure you go to kellybrownonline.com and watch my one prop workflow tutorial. I walk you through step by step how to transition the baby from one pose to the next, keeping them safe, secure and comfortable at all times to create some really beautiful results. Thank you for watching, if you're still watching. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell if you want to receive notifications of my new videos. And if you've got any questions at all, please add them to the comments. I will see you next time. Take care, guys.